So it has been almost 5 months since they have announced the delay for Code Vein, and ever since then we haven't got any sort of news, any sign of the game being still worked on. And a lot of people have been asking around for the state of the game, if it was still being worked on, and begging for the slightest piece of information that they did not get. And some were even worried that the game was getting cancelled. So I thought it was a good idea to talk about the state of the game, but also to go back in time and see everything that happened to it since 2017. For the state of the game and the development, we haven't got anything pretty much, except that at the end of October there was an interview for the producer of Code Vein where they talked about 3 games, which were God Eater 3, Code Vein, and I believe Tales of Vesperia. I'm not really sure about what Tales game is working on, but still. Anyways, so for Code Vein, what was said was that pretty much they are still working on it. They do not want to cancel the game at all, which is a good news, and they are still trying to find ways to improve it and find new ideas to make it better. Now, I've made a ton and tons of videos on how to improve it, but still, yeah, it's still my impression, my opinion, I mean, but they do not have to do that pretty much. And I believe game developers in general don't really like people giving them ideas because they have teams to do so. But I think it's not a bad thing for me to talk about the ideas and how to improve the game, because I'm still throwing ideas. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. But then again, it's not my job to do it. They have their own job to do it, and they'll eventually find a way to make the game much better. But then again, I haven't even talked about a lot of things that I want to say, because I thought if I kept making videos like that, it would have become redundant and it would have become tiring for even my audience and the bit of people who are watching me. So even for me, it was becoming a bit, I'd say, overwhelming. I was getting tired of it a little bit, and pretty much there was nothing else to say. Code Vein was getting delayed, and this is what we would have got: nothing. We would have got no info, no sort of information telling us that the game is still getting worked on as we are right now. So pretty much, yeah, there's nothing else to say. And then again, I have so many things that I would like to talk about, so many functions that the game is missing that could make it so much better. And I think one of the issues of Code Vein is that it's not even using the basic mechanics that could exist and that actually are within its own story, the story of the game, and that could impact the gameplay as well. They are not using any of those, like the Bloodthirst, the Thorns of Judgment, the fact that Revenants can turn into the Lusts. They are not using any sort of those mechanics, which is very unfortunate because they're so focusing on being like Dark Souls. We cannot really blame them for that. It's normal, and it's the way to not take a risk from making the players feel uncomfortable with the game when they are expecting to play a Souls-like game. Now I understand all of that, yeah, and it's very unfortunate, of course, because I'm really convinced that all of these aspects that the game has within its own story can really affect the gameplay and make it so much better. But yeah, this is what we get, and yeah, I'm pretty there's so much stuff that I would like to talk about. I'd like to talk again about the changes. I'd like to see the new things that I'd like them to add, but there's really not much. There's really not much to do until they reveal something, and I don't know when that will be the case, because right now we are in December. I believe the Game Awards is on the 6th of December, so in 5 days we'll get the Game Awards, and there's a lot of games that will be announced at the event. Maybe Code Vein will be part of it, maybe not, because the fact that it hasn't even been on Tokyo Game Show this year was really strange to me. I was expecting at least something, a little bit of thing for Code Vein, but nothing happened at the Tokyo Game Show. So now here not PSX, my bad, the Game Awards, I don't believe there will be anything. I really doubt it. But I'm really hoping, that's why I'm insisting on this, but I really hope that something will show up for Code Vein at that event. But yeah, anyways, wait, was it on the 6th of December or was it on the 13th? I don't know. Anyways, like I said, I thought it would have been interesting to go back in time and see everything that happened to Code Vein ever since the last year, like ever since they made the teaser for the game. And it's really strange, but also kind of funny that we are still in this state of starvation for Code Vein, because if I remember correctly, we are the 1st of December right now. I'm not even sure when I will post this video, but yeah. So it was around the time in 2017 when it was a few weeks after they had revealed the second trailer, and they were going to reveal the third trailer like in about 2 weeks or something like that. And it's funny because at that point everyone was really interested in Code Vein still, even though the gameplay wasn't too impressive. People were still kind of hooked on. They were still kind of hooked by the game, and they were really interested in it. They wanted to have that release date as soon as possible. Everyone was just starving for the release date of the game because it looked so goddamn exciting. So we're back into that state again, and even worse, some people have forgotten that the game even exists, and it's kind of unfortunate because I like this game. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. But yeah, I guess people got tired of waiting for the game, and the delay is really hurting pretty much everyone who has been excited for it. Bandai Namco will definitely need to announce the game in a very aggressive way so that people would see it again. But yeah, so we're back at it, and yeah, like I said, I wanted to talk about the overall hype that has been built around the game over the last year. I mean, the last and this year. I found it very strange and kind of problematic that the game had this kind of hype, because in my opinion it's a little bit of a lie. It seems like they have lied to us a little bit, because when we go back and we look at the teaser of the game, the teaser is probably the thing that built the most hype around Code Vein, because the teaser was so good, so interesting, that everyone thought it could have been Bloodborne 2. That's how good the teaser was, and a lot of people were curious to see what game was that gonna be. People didn't even know if it was gonna be about, if it was even Bloodborne, or if it was software working on the new thing. But a lot of people were suspecting the Souls-like, which was the case. So eventually, like, to me, the teaser was really good. I loved it a lot. I rewatched it so many times and love it every time. But surprisingly enough, when you see the next thing, which was the first trailer of the game with the first screenshots, a lot of people were very disappointed because they were not expecting something that looked so like an anime. Like, they were expecting really something a bit more realistic, I would say. So even though it wasn't Bloodborne, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were ready to accept the fact that there was a new Souls-like game that looked really dark, really weird and strange, but they were willing maybe to have something a bit more realistic, not so typical anime-like. And yeah, a lot of people were disappointed about it, so they eventually dropped from the hype train. They didn't want it to be there to see the game. And by the way, I just wanted to point out that I don't like the term hype. I'm not the type of person that gets hyped around something. I like to say I'm interested at first, and then I get excited, but I'm never hyped, because hype is a bad thing. It always ends bad, because you get disappointed at the end of the day. So yeah, my opinion on the first trailer was, I loved the first trailer. I loved it a lot, because of course I'm into the anime style. Then again, not too much. I'm really very selective with the anime type of thing that I watch. Like the art style is so important to me. But Code Vein has this very, I'd say, kind of generic style, but the thing that is really interesting to me, especially in terms of screenshots, where the screenshots about the Lost, of course, I thought it was a bit dark. Their eyes glowing in darkness was really, really good. I loved those shots of the Lost. I loved even more the colors of the overall colors of the game at that point, because it was somewhat, I don't know, something about it was really good. Like there was a lot of reflection. Like you can see the blood veils and the mask when they are using the blood veils was so good. Like those screenshots they're awesome. I love them. But yeah, so a lot of people didn't like that, and I can understand it, of course. Some people were, you have like categories of people. Some of them were really disgusted by this anime side. Some of them were a bit, they were a bit skeptical, but they were willing to give it a shot, and they were still interested in the game. And of course, the other part is the part that is completely excited about about Code Vein being an anime Dark Souls. So yeah, then after the first trailer, it's interesting because we had there wasn't even so much time before that. There was the IGN first gameplay of Code Vein, the 17 minutes of gameplay that Code Vein had for the first time, which was, I was super excited for the game. God, it was so, I remember it being so good. I rewatched it actually about a few weeks ago, and it was just good to see, like the feeling that I had just seeing the game for the first time, seeing it moving instead of being screenshots. It was so good. I loved it every time. And then again, that's where you can see the hype dropping once again for the game overall. You can see it drop a tiny bit, because some people were really, like, you had a lot of people, of course, were really excited, they loved it, like me. But the other part didn't like it at all, and that's understandable, because at that point the game was in pre-alpha. I believe it was really, really early footage, and it was very slow, very clunky, and a bit boring for some people. And I did feel that a little bit, but that wasn't my main focus. My focus was really on seeing the game being played. That was really what I was onto. But yeah, I definitely understand why people wouldn't like that IGN first video. It's not the fault of IGN, of course, but it's the fault of the game being slow and boring and clunky, and the enemies not being so interesting. But still, we were seeing a lot of the mechanics of the game, a lot of stuff going on. It was really cool, really awesome. We saw the blood veils in action. It was really, really awesome, and I loved it. But then again, the hype dropped a tiny bit from that footage. Then I didn't even talk about the basic attack footage, right? Well, the basic attack footage was a mess. They shouldn't have done that, to be honest. But anyways, so second trailer, a really good trailer as well. Built a lot of hype for the game as well. A lot of people were interested. Like, a lot of people who were a little bit skeptical about it got their interest a little bit up, because we saw more details of the story in that trailer, which was the TGS trailer, by the way. It was a pretty good trailer. I loved it. And then we had the gameplay at the event, the TGS event, the first build of the game actually, where we finally saw the first dungeon, which was the cave, the underground city. In my opinion, it was alright. It was slow, but it was okay. It was pretty much okay for me. I would say my interest in the game got hurt at that point, and that's where I started to feel very skeptical about it. So after that, we had the third trailer, which was one of my, no, not actually one of my favorite. It was my favorite trailer. Like, after the teaser, I think I could say that the third trailer was right after the teaser. It was so good. I loved it. I love the sound, I love the music, I love the fact that they showed a little bit of the anime scenes. It was really awesome. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Some people were like, that's I think that's the point where people started to really call the game the anime Dark Souls, because of all the edginess of the game. It was so funny. Like, the comment section was the best. The comment section were the best at that point, because so many funny comments, so many people like memeing already about the game. I loved it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people loved it too. So from there, it was the end of December, and at that point we started to get nothing except more and more story spoilers from a lot of articles, a lot of story spoilers non-stop pretty much from that point. A lot of people were mad, definitely mad. I even saw some comments being on Gematsu. People were actually complaining about videos giving too much details about the story spoilers and all that stuff, and I was afraid that they were talking about me at some point, but we never know with that stuff, and I didn't want to take a risk, so I tried to take a little bit, like I tried to step away from the game a little bit, and that's where I had a long pause for Code Vein, for the Code Vein content, for about a month. I believe until they revealed the second build of the game. And the second build, what can I say about it, man? It's just the best. Come on, like, I see it every day. Like, I saw that second build again like a few days ago. It's still good. Every time I see it, it's so perfect. To me, the second build is like, it's the best thing ever, because of the changes they made, because of pretty much everything. Like, I still see that the quick drain animation, the instant gift that have been used instantly, and all that stuff, so good, so fast as well. Like, awesome stuff, awesome build. I loved it. So a lot of people actually didn't get to see it, apparently. Like, I got this. It's also my most viewed video, actually. It's like my biggest video ever. And surprisingly enough, and a lot of people weren't aware of that. They were still pretty convinced that the game was slow and boring and all that stuff. But I saw it and I was happy, and you guys saw it too, so we're all happy about it. Anyways, then we had around the time of PAX East. So PAX, really good stuff. Second build was being played by a lot of people. A lot of people were excited about the game. Good stuff. Everyone was happy with this. And this is where I think the downfall of Code Vein starts. Because at PAX, a lot of people got to play the game. A lot of people got to try it. They were super happy with it. And then they had this thing they had to really do with the final trailer of the game, the release date trailer, that actually required an announcement for another announcement, which was really funny. But yeah, so the release date trailer was the downfall of this game, because since a lot of people got their interest up for Code Vein at PAX, a lot of people were ready to watch the release date trailer, which was so bad. It was such a bad trailer. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to even post stuff about the story in the articles, or to even spoil the entire, like, it's pretty much, I'm pretty sure, okay, maybe it's an exaggeration, but that trailer, the release date trailer, is definitely at least half of the game that they have revealed in there. Like, it's half of the whole plot. They have revealed way too much stuff, and I think it takes common sense to exactly know what will happen in the story. And I don't even want to talk about that, because in case people don't know, I don't want to say that crystal clear. I don't want people to see the image. I don't want it, and I don't even want to see it too. So yeah, why would they do that? I don't know. That was one of the worst moves ever. So yeah, a lot of people were mad about it, because the funny story is that everyone who was apparently mad at every bit of story detail that was revealed in the articles. All those people, they tried as much as possible to avoid any sort of news, any sort of spoiler about the game. And then they revealed this trailer with the release date where they spoiled absolutely everything. So imagine the reaction. That was absolutely terrible, because I think it's also important to talk about the marketing of the game, which was at the same time was good, but at the same time it was terrible, because everything they showed, they revealed for us in the West, not in Japan, because the first time they revealed the second build was in Japan, which was the most exciting time in my opinion. They didn't reveal it for the West. They revealed the second build at PAX, which was a bit less exciting to me. But yeah, so anyways, everything that was revealed to the West was pretty much story spoilers, and it caused people to avoid the game. Like, imagine you want to hype up a game, and the result of it being people avoiding everything, avoiding the informations, avoiding everything. It was so terrible. I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but that definitely hurt the game a lot. So Code Vein had this bad, it had this bad reputation of being filled with spoilers everywhere. So at that point, Code Vein was already down with the story trailer. That I hate it so much. I wish they never did that. Anyways, the next thing is E3, the biggest event and the biggest joke at the same time. So E3 was supposed to be exciting. For me, I didn't see it live. I didn't see it go live. I didn't see them play the game directly from E3 because I was doing other stuff. But I saw the footage. I saw the IGN video, 11-minute video, and at first I was interested. At first I thought it looked cool. I thought it was interesting to see new stuff, new classes. Everything was awesome until I took a really deep look into that build, into that third build. Everything was awesome since then, because when I did look carefully at everything that was in, there was a lot of bad stuff. Yes, the game, like I said, the game seemed easy as hell. Like, there was this, I don't know what they did to the enemies. I don't know what they did to the game, but it felt so easy compared to the second build. Like, everything seemed so easy, and I wasn't even the only one to say that. A lot of people who were reacting to the gameplay, footage that was revealed, they were really shocked by the fact that the game looked easy, and they were complaining about that a lot. We saw this, I don't know what they did, I don't know how to call it, but we saw the nerf, the big nerf they did to the game, and everything looked so dull and easy and boring. It wasn't fun to watch, I would say. So aside of that, you also had all these issues that I did talk about in the rant, and the rant actually got a lot of views. I was surprised about that. It got a lot of views and a lot of likes and dislikes at the same time. It's probably my video with the most dislikes ever. But it was funny because everything I end up saying was true. It ended up being true. I didn't like that build at all. It was so bad. And it wasn't only that. There was also this comment that the guy from Bandai Namco said about the partner system being he denied the question. He avoided the question being if the partner system was optional or not. He completely avoided the question, which was so unfortunate, because every time people asked for that in the past, they did say it was an option. He did say we would have the option to play alone. I even proved that the partner system was supposed to be an option, and in the screenshot they revealed this thing called leave your partner or stuff like that. So it was meant to be an option. I don't know if they changed that, and I am worried that they did. I hope they will fix it, because it's one of the biggest issues of the game right now. So anyways, like I said, that was pretty much downfall of Code Vein, because right after that we got the delay. It was 3 months before they actually released the official game, and they probably wouldn't have enough time to fix a lot of those things. And I wouldn't even say that was all. I think the main issue of Code Vein is in the, I think it's in the roots of the game itself. Like the foundation of the game are so, I don't know, something is missing or something is not done well. But there is this thing about Code Vein that is just, I don't know, boring. I would say boring, dull, not so interesting, and I'm not sure what it is. But I think we need to look at God Eater once again, because God Eater is pretty much the best product that Shift has done. Even though people are arguing that it's not Shift working on it, Shift definitely has the word on God Eater. I think they are both working together for God Eater 3, and that's why God Eater 3 is still so good. It's a really good game, and I'm still playing the demo, by the way. It's so fun to play. Looking at God Eater compared to Monster Hunter, of course, when you look at the gameplay, the fast-paced action, the weapons, the system, the game system itself, the Devourer system, all of that is really unique to God Eater. And Monster Hunter is not the same thing at all at that point. But also when you look at the presentation, like when you look at how the game is being played, just looking at the maps in Monster Hunter and looking at the maps in God Eater, it's not the same thing at all. God Eater has this style of map that is very small, yet you can move around a little bit to collect some items, but the focus is not the items that you collect. It's not things that you don't have to explore. Exploring is not part of God Eater at all, compared to unlike Monster Hunter. And this is something that changes the game a lot, because you are a lot more focused on fighting a monster more than actually running around and collecting stuff or chasing a monster around the whole map. And that changes a lot of stuff, of course, because it makes the gameplay of God Eater a lot more expeditive than Monster Hunter. Now, I don't know if they need to do something similar for Code Vein, because when you look at Dark Souls, you need to explore a lot. You need to run around, explore the world, explore everything, look carefully at what is hidden in the map, look at the items, the different routes you have to take. There's so much stuff to do. You need to read the lore, know about the place you're in, because the story is not really there if you don't do so. So it takes a lot of time to do when you're actually playing Dark Souls. Now when it comes to Code Vein is not doing it right, because first of all, the dungeons are super linear. Like I said before, they are really small. There's not much to it. There's not much story to the actual place that you are into. And also, there's nothing going on in the environment. There's nothing about the environment that you can say, wow, it's awesome. What is this place? So, the architecture is very basic. It's a city. It's a normal city, dystopian city. Nothing so impressive to see. So I don't know, Code Vein trying to set things up like Dark Souls in that sense is not really a good thing, because the game is dull. It just reveals how dull the world of Code Vein is. Meanwhile, for Dark Souls, it just reveals how great and how amazing the whole story of Dark Souls is, because you explore all these big castles, these big cities, and it's great. There's also a lot of places to explore, unlike in Code Vein. So that's one thing that Code Vein might have to change in their game design itself, because it's ruining the game a bit. Because when you explore just a random underground city cave where there's absolutely nothing going on, it's just boring. So kind of a mess. Kind of a disappointment in that sense. The gameplay itself, the action, everything else can be fine, but maybe the world of Code Vein is just boring, and they need to change the whole setup of it. So yeah, pretty much that's all I wanted to say. This video is very unprofessional, but I just wanted to talk a bit, give my opinion. I've been talking a lot. So yeah, that was a good idea to talk a bit about Code Vein again, because that's been so long. We haven't got anything in so long that I'm getting I'm getting tired of waiting. At some point I want something to happen. I really hope that we get something at the Game Awards. But yeah, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.